everyone, Shane here with RVs of America. We are the premier Black Series dealer in the United States of America. We are located in Utah. I have a pretty exciting tour for you today. This is going to be a brand new 2020 Black Series HQ12 tour. Now, if you follow our YouTube channel, if you're on our website, you'll know we already have a tour for the HQ12, but that was a previous year model, actually probably manufactured in 2018, model year early 19. So this is going to be an updated tour. We'll go into a bunch more detail about the unit itself. Just so you know, this tour is going to be focused on features about the product. It's not a user manual or a user guide of how things operate. We actually have a library for our customers. When you actually put in an order or buy a trailer from us, we have a video library of, exclusive content for you that, is more functional, how to operate, how to use each component, and we even have technical support videos. And so that's all, for more technical stuff, but this is going to be more featured on the new updates and the product itself. So we're going to get into this tour, but really quickly before I get into the tour, if you watch any YouTube videos, usually people insert at the beginning or the end, a plug for their sponsors. Who's sponsoring this video today? So we don't have a sponsor today because, that's the reason why YouTubers do that, is because they can't create videos, without having somebody give them money to sponsor their videos. So that's why they do that. We don't have a sponsor because we sell Black Series. So if you're seriously interested in buying a Black Series trailer, you definitely want it through RVs of America, because we give our customers so much stuff, so much extra support, not just before the sale, during the sale, but after the sale, that you will not get anywhere else. There's a lot of reasons, and I'm not going to make this an hour-long video of why you want to buy it from us, because we're going to do a tour, but there's a lot of reasons to, like if you lived in Maine and there was a Black Series dealer across the street from your house, you would be better served to come out here and buy it from us, because we're actually users of these units. We take them out, we're modifying them, and our labor rate for modifying is cheaper than anywhere else for our customers, if you buy it through us. And then we will give you the best deal too. Then we can ship it anywhere in the country. And also those exclusive videos for support after the sale, you'll have access to that, and we're always adding to that on a regular basis. And a huge thing is we're taking our customers, RVs of America customers, on these incredible adventures, and those will be open to any of our customers. And so we're doing those usually 4 times a year. We might increase it as we get more customers, but we definitely know these units better than anybody in the United States. We've used them more than anybody else. We're pioneers in taking large trailers off-road on Jeep trails. So, but without any more words from the sponsors, right? Let's get into the tour of this brand new 2020 Black Series HQ12. So let's start from the measurements, from the tip to tip. So when I say end to end or tip to tip, I'm talking about the back of the tire all the way to the very tippy tip end of the tongue. The measurements come in at 19 feet 6 inches. So essentially, if your garage is 19 feet, it will not fit in your garage if you're trying to put it in your garage. Now, if you took off the tires, it would. But that's a total length from tire to the tip of the tongue. The box itself measures closer to 15 feet. 12 feet is like right here, so that is not the length of the trailer by any means. There's a little bit more space inside the trailer than that, and it's pretty common in the RV industry. The model numbers don't have anything to do with the lengths. That's just what they're called. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the construction of everything. This is an aluminum sheeting right here. This is a European diamond plate. It's a little different design than the American diamond plate. This right here is an aluminum composite material. So aluminum, and when we say composite, it's usually they take 2 pieces of aluminum, thin pieces of aluminum, and they adhere it together. And the reason why it's a composite is because it's rigid. It's you know, straight and flat. You know, like if really the only other trailer that I'm aware of in America that does really any type of aluminum hardly is Airstream. Airstream is, you know, very famous, known for their aluminum. But you know, it's formed because aluminum, it's easy to bend and form. So when you make it into a flat wall opposed to a curved one, you know, you usually make it into a composite material, and that makes it more rigid. So aluminum on the exterior. The inside walls are also aluminum. The studs inside the walls are an RHS, that's a rectangular hollow stud, aluminum, and it's all welded aluminum. And then going underneath the trailer, let's actually come back around here and give you a look at the suspension down here. And the frame and chassis down here. So the undercarriage, or the chassis, whatever you want to call it, and the Australians call it a chassis, is all steel. But it's not just regular steel. In the U.S., most trailers you're going to get, you know, just forged steel, and they're going to paint it, maybe powder coat it. Now, when you paint steel, that's to prevent corrosion, because steel, the second it's forged and gets into the atmosphere and there's oxygen and moisture, it starts to corrode, and then you have rust. And it happens instantaneous with steel. You know, within 24 hours you can get rust on steel. So most trailers that you'll see in the US, they're usually painting it, right? So if you're off-roading and you scrape your paint, guess what happens? It starts to corrode, starts to rust, and then it loses its structural integrity. So what Black Series does is a hot dipped galvanized steel. You can kind of see the front of the trailer, and so hot dipped galvanized steel is what you'll see on like freeway signs over the interstate, ski lifts, you know, railing at a ski resort. This whole frame is hot dipped galvanized. Steel can start to corrode within 24 hours. Galvanized in the harshest and most extreme conditions can last up to 50 years. That's being parked by the beach, you know? So it's really incredible. Galvanization is very, very cool. And they take steel and they dip it in this molten bath of zinc. I haven't studied metallurgy or anything, but just from my research of the way it works, I don't understand why everything's not hot dipped. Well, it's cost. You know, it's cheaper not to. It's cheaper to paint your steel than it is to hot dip galvanize it. So that's the frame. That's your foundation. Now, something that the 2020s have done, which is very, very important. If you've been following our channel, if you've been interested in this HQ12 already, you know, you may have read some people saying that it doesn't tow so well, which unfortunately is somewhat true. At least the previous models didn't, and there was some weighting, balancing issues, and so Black Series has done a lot of things to fix that. They've actually moved the tanks. They've moved there was tanks farther back and under the axles, and they've actually moved the tanks more towards the front end. And the reason why, whenever you're talking about towing and sway, typically that's going to be, the more weight you have towards the back of a unit, the more sway it's going to have. That's what creates sway, is that when you unbalance the unit, it creates sway, and just it's not as good. So they've kind of rearranged some things, moved it forward. They've also lowered it a little bit, so the center of gravity is a little bit lower. Your still clearance is incredible. I mean, from frame to ground, you're about 21 inches. That's really good. You know, like most trailers are like way down here, and then you're you're about 20 inches to the bash bars here. You got about, I think it's around 16 to 17 inches on your tanks. Your control arms are about 11 inches. As a comparison, a new Jeep Rubicon is about 11.5 inches of clearance. So essentially this thing has more clearance, or the same with the control arms, as a Jeep Rubicon, right? So the trailers are very capable. The departure angles are about the same as an F-150, right? So, or actually a little bit better. So typically this will go wherever your truck will go, or better. So now since we're over here, let's start over here. I'm gonna kind of show you some of the storage compartments. Everything about these trailers just screams quality. I mean, and better than what you see. I mean, if you've ever been into any travel trailer, usually this is enshrined in a plastic box, which is so scary to me and cheap. I've seen them melt. If you watch any of my videos, I've said that before. This is a square D breaker panel. This is a 120 volt system. This is American standards, but it's residential. This is a residential grade box. This is not a RV plasticky box where you have all your 120 and then your 12 volt automotive fuses that are so cheesy and cheap, right? This is you see this type of stuff in like Monacos, right? Motorhomes. Those are motorhomes that cost $500,000, not the $250,000 motorhomes. The $500,000 motorhomes have these things. So super cool. These latches are super nice. They're all metal, right? These latches are going to run you anywhere from $15 to $20, and the front ones are going to run you anywhere from, usually $18 to $25. That's these latches over here on the actual front compartments. These are really nice. I've seen these on motor coaches, on those Monacos that I've talked about. So these are really nice luggage racks, or locks, and that's lockable, which is nice. But yeah, so these latches, I mean, most trailers you're going to get $2 butterfly latches, which are just cheesy. They fall apart and rattle, and so people sometimes ask me, man, these trailers seem a little expensive, and I'm like, well, when you start with galvanized, hot dip galvanized frames, which cost more money, and when you start getting into latches that, those latches on most trailers are like $2. This is over $20, right? So that's 10 times more expensive, right? The trailer is not 10 times more expensive, even though some of the components they're using are 10 times more expensive. And I mean, everything is super solid. I mean, you have gas struts, 2 gas struts. That's really cool. I've not even seen stuff like that. You have nice sills right here that seal up everything. This one right here is for jerry cans. Now this thing can be removed pretty easily if you want to pop it out and use more storage space here. And this is super tall, which is very nice. I'll put camping chairs over into this corner and stand them up, and you can squeeze a bunch in there. Also maybe like long rugs I can bend in, and so it is really tall. Piano hinges. This is when you're going off-roading and you're constantly rattling, those are the types of things that you want. You want heavy-duty latches. You want piano hinges. You don't want, most trailers, they don't even have an actual hinge. It's a part of the door. What they do is they have an extra piece of like a sheet metal, and then they bend it into a curve, and then they bend another one, and then they slide it in. It's like a tube, like they slide it in, and then they rivet. Those rivets come out, and the things can literally slide off. It's super cheap and cheesy. But this HQ12, so we have taken this thing to places where I guarantee most stock vehicle, well, I know most stock vehicles wouldn't go, because we've taken stock vehicles there and we've gotten stuck. But the trailer did not get stuck, which is really incredible. I mean, we have in our actual exclusive library footage for our customers, we have some of that footage of taking this into some pretty remote places. But we also have taken this on Jeep trails down in Moab. This trailer we have jackknifed into our trucks on this side, on that side. Not this trailer. This one's brand new. The older one that you've seen a tour of. That thing has been through so much. We've run it into trees, and all the front end still looks new. Like the trucks are all bent or whatever. Back to the frame a little bit. So this is a 4x2 inch hollow tube. The reason why these are hollow is because when you hot dip galvanize, it has to enter in, and that galvanizes the inside end out. You have these extra weld plates. These I think are a 4mm extra weld plate, and these are throughout the frame. If you look under and get under the trailer, you'll see. And these are the reason why all of this is a potential weak point on most frames on trailers. You don't ever see this on any trailer in the US that I've ever seen. That just reinforces and creates more strength. Black Series gives a 5-year structural warranty on their chassis, so that's important, those extra plates. Here you have the Jockey Wheel. This is super cool because the concept behind this is you can put this all the way into the down position. You could unhook your vehicle, your tow vehicle, and you can essentially roll this around on this wheel. So if you got in an off-roading situation and you were too tight and you couldn't turn, you could hypothetically unhook, move your vehicle away. You could hook up a chain to your vehicle and you could pull the trailer sideways with this wheel, which is super cool. These chains, speaking of the chains, I'm having a brain fart, but I think these are 2 or 3 times the diameter than what is required by US law. These things are ginormous. They're beefy. They'll actually catch your trailer and if it actually unhooked by some miracle. I don't think it could because the polyblock system, we've talked a lot about this in previous videos, but this polyblock system is very, very cool. I think I might have a hitch right here. Okay, so this is the hitch. What you do is you remove the ball off of yours, and this replaces the ball, and then this locks into right here. There's a pin right here that drops in through here, and then this thing goes over 90 degrees in every direction. You have up and down. It's really stiff because it's new, and that's because that's for riverbeds, up and down, and then it goes this way, which is harder to do if you don't have the pin in. It does that pivot over 90 degrees in each direction, and that's such an important thing. This is something you don't get on any trailer. Now the ball, when you're off-roading, that ball has certain points where it stops. It can only pivot so far, and so what you're doing is when your truck is cambered to the left and your trailer's cambered to the right, that's all in the ball. And so what's going to happen is either one, the ball's going to eject, the trailer's going to eject off the ball and it's going to come unhooked, which I've seen many times where the trailer can disconnect. Or it could just snap and break. That's not going to happen because the trailer's designed to move in those directions. So that's very, very important for off-roading. You don't want to have your trailer disconnect because of some off-camber or off-roading rough terrain. So over here, you have your jockey wheel, or your brake. Not your jockey wheel, your brake. such a silly, simple thing, but you don't see this in the US on any trailer. This is so you don't have to chalk your wheels. Now, if you're on a really steep grade, I would chalk my wheels still, but the idea is that will brake, that will give a nice brake to your thing. Right here, you have an Anderson plug. This is an extra plug that you could either use to charge the batteries while you're towing your vehicle, or you can actually plug in additional solar panel. It comes with solar panels already on the roof, but this gives you an option to get more and set out if you wanted to. Over here you have your propane. Everything is just so nicely done, with these ratchets. These go in here. When you ratchet this up and close it, this is so tight and so solid. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's mounted to the floor and has this nice bracket. It's really, really incredible what they've done, how they've put these in here. So, and you could store some stuff around those tanks a little bit here and there. You want to make sure you want airflow in there for sure. Oh, lights all the way around. You got front lights, you got side lights, you got rear lights, and you don't see that on most trailers. You usually will have a single porch light, like right here, right? One porch light. This gives you a porch light down here, which is solar controlled, and then you have 2 LED lights on this side. And the reason for this is because you're out cooking. You're using, the awning comes out, and they all come standard with an awning. They're manuals. You can upgrade to an electric awning. I prefer the manual awnings because they're easier to tie down. I think they're better, and then you don't ever potentially get stuck with your electric awning breaking. Going inside here, the new 2020s have a little bubble level, which is nice. You have some storage, and these are some of the things that they come with. You have this leg right here is for the kitchen, which I'm going to show you right now. And this is one of the coolest features about these trailers, is this incredible kitchen. You have an extra little, we're kind of tight in this area. We're in our shop. Got a lot of trailers in right now. But you got a little extra prep space right here, which is super nice. You have all of these drawers. And then you have quick disconnects for water, propane, and electric igniters. We go into a lot more detail on our other videos, our exclusive tour videos of actually how to set it all up. One of the reasons why we do those videos is because over 90% of every trailer we sell is out of state. And so that's one of the reasons why I say it doesn't matter where you're from. We service everybody all over the country. Our probably biggest state right now in sales is Florida, Texas, Canada. I know Canada is not a state, but we sell these all over. So that's why we do so much over the phone technical support and videos for people. Windows are super cool. They open up very, very nicely. Get lots of airflow through here. They actually have different positions. And oops, you just got to barely click it. And then this is on the nightshade, but if you move this up you're supposed to do it from inside, you have a screen, as you can see inside. So you can open these windows and you can have really nice airflow with these screens. These windows, we have a video actually, maybe we'll throw some footage of that, of throwing a baseball at these windows. We've had trees hit these windows. These are a polycarbonate acrylic blend of some type. It's a European window. The Eurovision is what they call them. It is dual pane, which is really nice. Contrary to popular belief, most trailers don't have dual pane windows. They're usually single pane glass. And now polycarbonate is typically 30 times the same diameter of glass. It's 30 times stronger. So it is more durable. And then the dual pane is going to help for insulation. Now, speaking of insulation, the inside, there is insulation in the walls. There's insulation in the roof also. We've taken things apart. We've seen the insulation. There is insulation in there. The new 2020s, and this is different from the previous year model. When they first came into the US, the undercarriage did not have a lot of insulation. The new 2020s have a lot more insulation, which is super nice for the North American market, right? Is because we have extreme climates all throughout the country. So they've added an extra layer of insulation right under the subfloor. And then also all the lines are wrapped with insulation now. And these ones, and even the newer models are coming with a heated general water tank also. Now that only works off a 110. We have some mods where we can upgrade it and do it into a 12-volt system. But I'm gonna open this up right here. Cool little extra prep table. Now if you can imagine, your kitchen's out. This is a little table. You could have stuff here. You could be cooking, throwing your food here. So it's really, this little table is really, really nice to have, this extra table. You have these outside. These are marine grade outside radio speakers for your radio. Your radio inside is Bluetooth, so you can sync your phone to it, play music off of your phone or radio over the air. Over here you have a few little guys. This is a 12-volt plug. This is the same thing as a cigarette lighter in your car. So So you could plug in a little inverter and have a plug there, or a cell phone charger. What we use these for quite frequently is airing down the tires, because when you go off-road, you want to air down your tires. It gives you more traction over rocks and sand. It also just smoothens the ride out a lot, right? So your trailer's not, as rattling around as much. Now, rattling around as much, most trailers have a torsion axle, right, with leaf springs, and that is so hard on the trailer. Everything in the trailer is literally just getting rattled so much. I mean, every time you take these trailers off-road, it's like putting them through an earthquake. But I would say these trailers, probably it's going through a 5 or a 6.0 off-road. Most trailers are probably like an 8 or above, if the so definitely. And the reason why is because these have that independent suspension that I was showing you earlier. You have gas shocks, coils, and the difference between independent and leaf springs is the difference between driving in a Cadillac and an old Ford or Chevy or whatever, an old 1-ton truck, where it's just you hit a bump and you feel every single bump, and then you get in a Cadillac and you can hit bumps and you don't even feel them. That's the difference between leaf springs, torsion axles, and independent suspension. Way more comfortable. Ride in your car. It's also way more comfortable for your trailer, and when things are getting rattled around is with less I guess force, things are going to stay together a lot longer, ultimately. So let's keep on moving back around, is because we kind of skipped the other side. Lots of windows all the way throughout, and like I said, the lights also. Now, I do need to mention, these are not the stock tires. These are upgraded. So they're the same size as the stock tires, but this one, which is it's a 265/75 R16, 16-inch rims, which is what you want for off-roaders mostly. But these are upgraded BF Goodrich tires. We can upgrade those for you, but currently they come with a Cooper tire. Now, I highly recommend upgrading that on the HQ12 and the HQ15, because when you only have 2 wheels on the ground, you want a more heavy-duty tire. And these are 10-ply, very heavy-duty, nice sidewall. Okay, so here you have an outside shower, and this is really nice because, if you don't want to be using your shower inside and filling up your gray tanks, you can use this outside and rinse off your feet, and then the water's just going to go on the ground and you're not filling up your tanks. We could also install one of those outside showers, and you could use it as a shower outside if you wanted to. Or the Black Series can get you so deep into the woods that you don't need to have a covering. It's because you're the only one in the woods, right? It's hot and cold, which is nice. So you spray off the dog, the kids, yourself. Super nice right there. And that locks too. And then over here you have a black water tank flush. So this is to clean out your tanks. And the new 20, I'll show you in a second, but the 2020s have a new, they've reconfigured the tanks on the new ones, and to make it a lot more convenient for us Americans, and just overall it's way better. But I'll show you that the flush. Now this is to clean out your black water tank, so your toilet. Like you do your business in your toilet, it fills up with your stuff, your gross stuff, and then when you drain it out, you want to clean it out, and so you stick a hose in here and flush it out when you're dumping your sewer. And my previous RV that cost $80,000 didn't even have one of these things. You had to run a hose through the window and to the toilet and stick the hose down the toilet and open it up and spray it down, right? So just silly little things, right? And these are all lockable. I don't know why. Maybe in the bush in Australia people steal your water, but anyways, because they're cool, whatever, they're lockable. You have a drinking water tank and a general water tank. This is so cool. This is not like anything I've ever seen. So in the US, every RV has a water tank, right? Every trailer camper has a water tank. Typically what they have is what Black Series would call the general water tank, and this water tank does everything: your sinks, your outside shower, your toilet, your inside shower. So that's your general water tank. It does everything, right? But Black Series has an independent, separate tank from all of this, right? So this is a 50-gallon general water tank. This is a 16-gallon drinking water tank. And so this has its own pump and spigot inside. I'll show you in a bit. So what happens is you put your drinking water in here and it goes through a triple filtration system. So if you're out in the woods, the idea behind this is hypothetically you can go down to a stream and you can fill up your general water tank and you can keep on flushing, you can keep on showering, and you don't have to contaminate your drinking water because your drinking water is in this separate tank. Super cool. You have another 12-volt plug. Like I said earlier, that's great for airing up your tires. That's what we use it for all the time, is when we air down and air up right there. And then here's your water heater. And then this is your 30 amp plug for shore power. So that is if you're at a trailer park plugged in. Now on the roof, you can kind of see on the edge, there's a little silver thing that pops up. That is a solar panel, which is really cool. That will give you power if you're not plugged in, which is, in a trailer like this, you don't always want to be plugged in. So how do you get power when you're not plugged in? The sun. And there's two 150-watt solar panels. That's one. The other one's on the other side. But let's walk around, and I'm going to point out the new sewer setup. First, though, right here, you have a stabilizer jack. This is not to lift up the trailer. So, for those off-road enthusiasts, you definitely want to get a jack in case you pop a tire. But this is to stabilize. And then you also have these recovery points or recovery hooks, and these are rated for 9,000 pounds. This is to pull somebody else behind you, or if, we've used this for a lot of things. We actually put a high lift jack right here and jacked the whole trailer up and stabbed the nose of the jack into there, and I thought it was going to poke a hole, and it didn't. But I have a video of the HQ12 of a year of torture tests. You should go watch that of it, and so you can kind of see I explain. And we had to jack it up and push the trailer over because we were on a sharp turn. But over here, down here, we have the tanks, which is super cool. They've in the 2020s, they've moved the gray and the general water tank to the rear, which used to be just a general water tank in the back, and then the gray was in the middle. But they've moved these and they've put it on a single outlet where you can pull and dump your black and pull and dump your gray. And this is a standard US fitting, so you can get any type of sewer hose and that will work for that to drain. And it's super nice is because now there was two different separate tanks, and you had to empty one, then move your trailer, and then empty the other one. This, you just plop it in here, put it in the dump station, and you can dump it out right there in one shot. So really nice. And you can see there's the other solar panel. Okay, before we head on inside, I want to show you the door. Now, these are a little bit different than most doors you see in the US on trailers. Very cool doors, though. This disconnects, and you can actually move this. There's a little metal lock clip back here that you can put on there to hold it. And then this guy, I have a video where I ran into this thing to see how strong it was, and I walked away with a bruise in my head. This thing is so strong. I mean, you can put a dog in there and there's no way it's getting out, and another cool thing is this is lockable. So if you're out on a hike and you need to leave the dog in, you can have some air coming in, and then you can also lock it. So really, really nice. Just a heavy duty door. I mean, if you've ever seen most US trailer doors, it's like there's like a screen, full screen, right, that you can literally accidentally punch your hand through and it will break, and it's just like a little plastic thing that opens, and there's a plastic handle that opens it. It's just super cheap stuff, so this is cool. That really locks up nicely, and you have some blinds that cover the window for when you want to go to bed. But let's head on inside and take a look. Always take off your shoes. That's the rule here. Nice grab bar. It's metal. Okay. here we are inside now. This is extremely comfortable. Lots of space. I am not a small person by any means. I weigh too much, over 260 pounds, 6 feet tall, and I feel very comfortable. You could throw another person right here, and that seat's actually larger than this seat. So if you're a good sized family, you can sit out here, put your games out, relax, and lots of table space. Now, everybody asks, how big is this bed? This is queen size bedding. So if you get a queen size sheet, you can fit a queen size sheet on this. But now remember, most queen size sheets, you're putting them on thicker beds. This mattress is not quite as thick, so it doesn't measure the exact dimensions as a queen. The measurements from side to side are about the exact as a queen size, but the length of it is close to 7 feet. So if you're a very tall person, this is a lot longer to sleep this long ways, because the trailer itself is about 7 foot 3 inches wide, which most standard trailers are either going to be 8 or 8.5 feet, which that makes this more ideal for off-roading, right? Get her into tighter spots, but the bed is the entire length of the trailer, so it's essentially almost 7 feet long. So very, very nice, comfortable bed. Nice diamond stitching leather material. This is a marine grade vinyl leather, so it's not real leather, but it has a very nice texture, nice feel. It feels very quality, very, and I mean, you look through, you got double stitches on all of the seams. Very, very nice. I'm going to show you over here since I'm sitting here. This is your control panel. We call it the headquarters control panel, and super cool, super unique to anything you've ever seen in the US probably. Now, as I was telling you earlier, drinking water, general water, these are your water pumps, right? So you have 2 separate pumps that work these things. I was talking earlier about the square D panels, right? The breaker panels. And then I was talking about how there's those automotive fuses, and that's what you get most standard in the US. Now, if you're out off-road and bouncing, those little fuses are not good. They could potentially trip and blow. And this is the thing, is if you're a first-time RV owner, right, or trailer owner, you get out and something stops working. Say your water pump stops working. You're like, what do I do? It's not turning on. Well, you check your fuses. Guess what? Most trailers are automotive fuses. So you get tweezers, you grab them, pull it out, and you check it, and you're like, oh, it's blown. Hopefully you have fuses. If you're a first-time trailer owner, you probably don't. And so guess what? If you're now driving down out of the mountains, hopefully not too far, to an O'Reilly store to pick up automotive fuses so you can take a shower or flush your toilet, which is kind of silly. And then when you're more experienced, you come with a box of fuses and you set them somewhere so when it blows, you got your fuses now, right? So this right here, what they've done in the Black Series, these are breakers. These are circuit breakers, and these are your 12-volt system. So you got your fridge, you got your drinking water pump, your master water pump. So say if something trips or you overload a circuit, this will pop, and then you come here and press the button, and you're back on the road. You're good to go. There's nothing you need to do. If it keeps on tripping, then there's another issue, and you got to get that resolved. But usually you just pop those back in and you're good to go. Super cool. Now you have gauges over here. These are these digital gauges. They kind of go up and down in increments. They're not 1, 2, 3, 4, but still really cool. Nice to see actual digital gauges. You have gray, black, drinking, general. Over here you have a full battery monitoring system, and this is so important in a trailer. I'm always shocked with how most trailers, they do dots, right? There is no monitoring system. You can't see your voltage, you can't see your current wattage. It's really, to me, it's crazy that most trailers don't actually do that. If you're an experienced RVer, you usually go out and get a detector so you can test and see the actual voltage of your batteries, so you're not going too low. Now when you're plugged in, it's over 13. I have a video that goes into more depth on this. I think I talked for over 10 minutes just on this little screen right here, and then we also, in our more our exclusive video library. When you put in an order with us, we'll give you access and goes into more details on those things. And then this is your water heater, and you have an electric or a propane option too. So over here we have our furnace, and you have a thermostat here, which is super nice. You turn it on, you get your thermostat, you set your temperature, and it's temperature controlled. And the furnace in the 2020s, they've rerouted the furnace. They put it right here. This is nice because it used to be under the seat right here. So if you were sitting right here, your feet would burn. And then also this turns into a bed. So when you put it into the bed position, that heat was getting kind of trapped under there, and it wasn't coming out and heating you at night if you had this into a bed. So it's nicer that they put it there, is because it's more centrally, and it will actually distribute the heat throughout the trailer a lot better. But now I'm gonna take this down and put it away so you can see how that works. So you drop it down into this bed position, and like I said, you have these cushions that fill in over it, which is super nice. Or you can stow it away, and that locks in right there, and then you have a nice little handle there. So you press this button to open it and pull it out. So that's super nice. Now, and this, it's pretty spacious in here. It feels very comfortable. Something I think important is a lot of people, complain about the lack of storage in the HQ12. There's not a ton of storage. True. The outside, there's a lot of storage. I feel like a good amount where you can put bins and stack things in there pretty well. But we end up putting some stuff in here, some of our bins or backpacks right on the floor, and when we get to wherever we're going, we'll move them out. Depending on how many people you are, we end up stacking a lot of stuff up here too. When we get to wherever we're actually camping at, we might have maybe a suitcase here and we put it up here. But you can surprisingly stuff a lot of stuff in these areas. I've stuffed a lot in there, clothes, and there's a lot of little areas you can pack stuff. But this is nice. We've had a 200-pounder, 6'1" or 2" guy sleeping up on here, and he said it was very comfortable. My wife slept up on here, and she said it was comfortable. So this definitely can support an adult, but made for, I think, more a kid. And got a nice little rail so you don't roll off if you're a roller, and put that out of the way, and it makes it feel a lot more open here. Now over here you have plugs. So check this out. You have this does work off of your inverter system, and I have some videos where I explain more so what inverters are. It's because if you're new to this, that might be something that you've never heard of. Here you have a cigarette lighter. You have a 12-volt plug, which is super nice for charging stuff. And then up here you have these reading lights, and you have these all throughout, which is super nice. And these are super low wattage lights. And so if you're trying to preserve on your lights or on your power, your battery bank, this really is nice to use these a lot. You have a night light option right there, the blue light, and then you have the actual main light, and then it also dims. So if you press and hold, it gets brighter. If you press and hold again, it gets dimmer, which is super nice. Now these I'm going to talk about these blinds because these are really cool. So first of all, we're all in the blackout position, so you can actually do like a half and half if you want, half screen, half blackout, or you can go all screen, and then these actually disconnect, so you can open it up completely, and then you open the window, remember, into that click, and then get some nice airflow in there. If you want, you can open that up, have a screen. Now if the sun's coming in and you want some maybe airflow, but you don't want the sun shining in, you could close the curtain and still maybe get some airflow through here coming out through the side. Or if you're sleeping, you can shut the window, put the blackout, and bring the shades down, and this trailer gets pitch black at night. When I'm out camping, I don't know what time it is in the day when I wake up because it's so dark in the trailer. I'm always like, what time is it? So super cool. Over here you can see there's another light, another little reading light over here. Same concept with the windows. Over here you have another reading light. Over here you have a switch that turns off the lights over the bed, which is nice. So if you're laying in bed, you don't have to get up and turn on and off these switches. You have your speakers right here. This is a grab bar that helps you in assist of lifting up the roof, because this does have the top canvas, and that top canvas is you know, in the down position, it's to about right here, right? So you can't walk around, you put it up, and then you have your up position. Now this is super nice, is because you have all of this open area, and this will create so much airflow in this trailer during the day if you want to be able to open this up, and you just clip those on just like that and create a lot of airflow in this trailer. Now this roof setup time is 30 seconds if you have a problem. Like, it's super easy. You just lift the bar up and the whole thing, it's gas assisted. It almost just wants to lift by itself. Over here, back over to this area, since we were on the light, and you have a nice little TV, and behind the TV, as you can see, the plug says inverter, so it works off of the inverter. And then you have your TV antenna. You turn on your power there, and this turns on a king jack, and this will pick up over air TV, which is super nice. Or you can bring movies with you, a DVD, and I mean, everything on this feels so nice. I mean, this is, so it's a Malaysian timber is what they use, and now it is honeycomb, which means it has more of a hollow center. Well, it looks like a honeycomb, and so that makes it a lot lighter, because you don't want solid wood in a trailer, otherwise you're going to be 10,000 pounds, right? So very heavy. And by the way, we have a lot more specs on our website, rvsofamerica.com, that goes into measurement, photos, all kinds of little details. So if I'm not super detailed in the video, you can go there and find more detail. Once again, another cigarette lighter and another 12-volt plug there. So plenty of spots to charge things, charge your cell phones, but also your inverter plugs will work completely off grid, which is super nice. Now over here you have all of your switches. You have these work those lights, so that, remember this, the switch down under the TV, this one works those ones. So you turn it on here, and when you get in bed, you turn it off down over here. And then this works your main lights in the kitchen area. And we'll stay over in the kitchen, and I'll show you through the kitchen here. And then these 4 lights work all of your outside lights around you. Now over in the kitchen area, I really like this fridge. First of all, it's about I think it's a 78 liter fridge, and one of the things that I love about it is that it opens this way. And I know that's not super convenient for being inside, but when you're outside, which when you're camping, most likely you're going to be outside most of the time, you open the main door right here, and this fridge is super easy to access from outside. And so I'm usually cooking, or my wife, we're cooking outside, and you reach in and grab all your food and take it outside. It's super nice. And when you're shopping, you know, when you go to the grocery store, you pull your shopping cart right to the door, and you literally can, you know, you push the steps in. So these steps come inside, right? So you push your steps in, and you're standing right next to the fridge right there. And when you pull your shopping cart in, you just literally stock your fridge up standing right here from your shopping cart. So super nice. I love how they designed that. I mean, we could switch the door, because some people ask, why doesn't it open this way? And I'm like, no, it's way nicer that it opens that way, because you're usually camping and using this outside stuff anyway. Now you have a little bit of storage here and there. You got a storage spot in there, not a ton of stuff. You can throw some stuff in there. Over here you can stack some stuff around there, but that's your triple water filtration system that works for your drinking water. Over this right here, super cool. This is on the 2020s. This is a general water tank heater pad. Now you have to be plugged in or have shore power for that. But, you know, if you are in a campground and you're staying somewhere really cold, you'll be able to turn that on, and that will extend your stay in colder temperatures. Here you have a nice little tray. You could pull that cutlery thing out and put other stuff there if you wanted to. The outside kitchen has a cutlery area, and when we go out, we fill up all of our stuff there, and we take that out and put other things there, because you don't need two places for silverware at the end of the day. And usually when we're camping, we're outside camping. Got a little another little storage area where you can stuff some stuff in there. When we're driving and off-roading, we put some stuff in here. You know, we'll put our loaf of bread and bags of chips and stuff in there. And then whenever we get to where we're going, then we stick it over here, because we're usually going off-roading, so we don't want it falling around. But you have your nice burner in here. So if you want to cook up some tea or make your breakfast in the morning, you don't want to go outside and cook, if it's raining too much, you do have the option of cooking inside. So you essentially have a full kitchen inside and out. And over the stovetop here, when you're cooking, you actually do have a fan, which is super nice. Turn that on and that sucks the air out. You could also open up these nice vents, the window, and then you have some extra lighting there too. Now moving over here, I want to show you the sink. This is super cool. Now if you can see at the top of this thing, which is different than any other sink you've probably ever seen, it has two spigots. It also has two valves to turn on and off these two separate spigots. As I was talking earlier about the general and a drinking, this is your drinking, this is your general, they come out different spigots. So these are completely separate lines. Super, super cool. I mean, very, very unique to Black Series, and I'm sure other Australian manufacturers do this. Never seen anything like this in the US. Really, really cool. So there you go. That's where you get your drinking water versus your general water. Here you have another switch, and that actually turns on the bathroom light, which I'll get to in just a second. This is your main sink area that you'll use in your kitchen, and you'll also use this for your bathroom. It's right next to your bathroom, so you have a nice little mirror, vanity mirror for you, which is really nice for those people that like to look at themselves a lot. Now let's go in. This guy zips up and zips down, so you're gonna open that up, and then there's a little lock right there on that side, and then you can open this door, and it's magnetic, which is super cool. This is held shut by a magnet. Come into here, and you actually have a shower, and this shower is adjustable, which is super nice. So you can adjust this higher, and you can wash your head. Like I said, I'm 6 feet tall, right? Lots of headroom in here. As you can see up here, look at this. I got lots of headroom. I think we're roughly 6'6" in this trailer, and you can adjust that for small people. Got a little soap holder here. Lots and lots of leg room. Look at this. I mean, that's really nice. I mean, like I said, I'm 6 feet tall, and I have tons of space in here. My previous RV, I could not sit on the toilet and have the door open, because the toilet was set on an angle, and I had to have my legs sitting out of the bathroom. So it was kind of like whenever I had guests, it was like, oh, would everybody leave the RV for a second so I can go to the bathroom, because I can't sit on the toilet with you in here and the door open. It's so silly, you know? And this is all one-piece fiberglass. You know, most trailers you're going to see plastic, and they're just screwed to the wall. This is a porcelain toilet. How about that? Porcelain toilet. It's just like super, super nice. This is the type of stuff you see in, like, you know, high-end trailers that are over $100,000, or, you know, get into these really expensive motorhomes. So moving from there, you have your stereo system right here, which controls the speakers inside and the speakers outside. And then just below the stereo, you have your inverter system. Now, I'm going to this is a remote to your inverter, I should say, and this gives you lots of information on the display that tells you your voltage and input, output, charging, current battery status, which also that other gauge inside there does that as well. Little redundancy there, but this is different, you know. So let me show you where the inverter is and kind of explain a little bit about that. I'm gonna lift up this cushion here. On the seat behind you, actually, there is a little bit of storage area. You could store some stuff under there. This side, not so much. Now, I'm going to turn it off because it's kind of noisy right now. What it was doing right now at the moment, it was charging the batteries. So this is a inverter converter, charger. So that's 3 different things, right? This is a 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter system. It's a 4,000 peak, 2,000 watt continuous. This is something you do not get as a standard thing in most trailers. And what this is, what's so cool about this is ultimately this is what gives you power off grid. And most people don't understand this, but trailers, if you're new to the trailer world or the RVing world, most trailers are designed to go from your house being plugged in to a campground to be plugged in. And that's how you get your main power source. You cannot watch a TV. You can't run your microwave. You essentially, there's a 12 volt system, and you can operate a lot of things off the 12 volt system, which is really cool, and that's unique to RVs. But you can't, unless you have like a 12 volt plug like these have, a lot of trailers don't, you cannot plug in a cell phone charger or a laptop or a television to be able to use unless you're plugged in at a campground. Now this system, what this does is it takes your batteries, your 12 volt batteries, and it turns them into 110 volt regular power, like what you would get in a residential house. And then now your plugs, even though you're not plugged in, your plugs now are going to be working totally off grid. And then also inside there, I didn't show you, but there's a solar controller and a charge controller. And what that does is it takes the solar panel on the roof, which you have 300 watts of solar panel, 300 watts, and what it does is the sun captures the power, right? It collects the energy, sends it down to that solar charge controller, and then it charges the batteries. And then the batteries work all your 12 volt systems. But then if you want to turn on your microwave and use it completely off grid, then what you do is you flip this switch, which tells that inverter system to take your batteries and turn it into microwave power. Like you heard it just turned on. And most trailers stock that you buy, you cannot run a microwave off grid in a trailer. You have to go physically and plug into something, or you have to bring a generator with you. So that's really cool system. And those aren't cheap. Like those inverter systems just themselves are going to run you, anywhere from $1,000 to a few $1,000s. And then you have to wire it to the plugs, right? So it's not just like, oh, I'll just go buy a trailer and, for an extra $1,000 I'll get that system. No, it's going to be thousands of dollars. You got to run switches, remotes, wire it into the entire trailer. I'm surprised is because a lot of people buying these trailers or interested in these trailers have never owned a trailer before, and they don't realize these things. They don't realize like the moment you go and buy a trailer, whatever, most American, and I'm not talking like $10,000 or $20,000 trailers, $100,000 trailers. The expensive brands, they don't come with this stuff as a standard feature. So if you're looking at some fancy trailer at 60, 80 grand, from my experience, they don't come with that inverter system. And so that's all on top of it. And these are all included. This isn't in the stock package of this trailer. It's included. So a lot of people, when they go and buy a trailer, they think, oh, I'm going to go to, guess where you're going to go? You're going to go to Yellowstone or Zion or your state park. And guess what? Most national parks and state parks and national forests, they don't have power hookups. So you kind of have to be off grid, and people don't realize that, and they get out there and they're like, oh my goodness, like I only can last a day or two before I'm completely out of power. And that's just running, your lights and your water, not really actually a TV or anything, is because they're not set up to do that. So the Black Series is set up to be completely off grid, and the power system is pretty robust. I mean, things can always be upgraded, right? But the stock system in it is better than any stock system on any trailer I've ever seen. Like, without a doubt, it's just much more superior than anything I've ever seen. So that's it. I mean, I feel like I touched on most everything. This video is, I know it's only an hour, right? So, I mean, if you have more questions, make some comments below. Contact us at RVs of America. go to our website. We have lots more information on our website, you know, more detailed photos, and we have a lot of videos that we're always coming out. If you're seriously interested in buying a Black Series, like I said earlier, we'll deliver anywhere. We'll beat any price, and more than anything else, we'll give you an incredible buying experience because we know what to expect as an owner of this trailer. We can help you in your ownership, and we try to give more support after the sale than before the sale, because we understand that, you know, if we're treating you and wowing you on a weekly basis after the sale for years, you're going to tell everybody, and you're going to refer people to us, and we're going to invite you out on our adventures, and we're, you know, lots of cool things that we do for our customers because we just love on them, and hopefully we can get you out on an adventure in a Black Series like this. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.